Your technology tutor, Chet Davis, here with you with a tech quick tip. Today I want to share with you a concept you've probably heard a lot about. Maybe you already know, but in case you don't, it's called a podcast. Now, a podcast is an electronically delivered media, kind of like a digital magazine, but for the eyes and sometimes for the eyes and ears. Now, a podcast oftentimes is something kind of like an internet radio show is another way to put it. In fact, I have one called Your Technology Tutor, and I'm going to use that today to show you how you can find a podcast, how to listen to a podcast, and then how to subscribe to a podcast if you really like. We're going to break this up into 3 different pieces. This first is how to listen to podcasts on your computer, on your desktop or laptop computer. Then we're going to get into how to listen to a podcast on your smartphone, most specifically the iPhone and iPod Touch. And then a third application showing the podcast app on the iPad, which is same as the iPad mini. But first, let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to open up a web page. Now, podcasts are usually delivered through what's called an RSS feed, and iTunes is one of the best places to find tons of podcasts. There are other places too, so let me show you this in case a friend says, hey, I found this cool podcast on a website. Now, this is the link for my podcast called Your Technology Tutor, that is available on iTunes, but it's also available on this web page. Now you can see this link here. If I click it, it'll open up the program, the podcast, inside of iTunes. But you can also view it here on this web page. If you don't have iTunes, you don't want to go into iTunes, you don't want to download iTunes, you can still listen to my podcast. So go to this page, and you'll find this link again in the notes, and you can simply hover over a program, see this? And then if you click this little blue circle with the white triangle inside, it'll start playing back the program. So I just click the stop button or the pause button, and if I click play, it'll begin that program again. But you see there's the title in this episode, the description, and the description is fully contained inside this little letter I. You click that, and there's the information. See, you can scroll down and see the information, when it was released, etc. It tells you the date, it tells you it's free, and you can view it in iTunes. Now, this tells you the podcast is clean. Some of the podcasts contain, shall we say, off-color language, and they are asked and required to indicate, especially if they show up in the iTunes store, they're required to show up if they have language that's not appropriate, for sensitive ears or for younger ears. So that's that. So here's how you find it on a website. And again, there are a number of different podcast directories out there. But again, one of the best ones, I think, is iTunes. So this is how you can play a program back. Now, inside of this website, there is no way for you to subscribe. You actually have to go into iTunes or grab what's called the RSS feed. If you have the RSS feed or the XML, then you can grab that and put it into a podcast aggregator, a podcast feeder. But let's show you in iTunes. So I'm going to go ahead and close the website, and let's open up my iTunes account. Okay, you can see that I've opened up iTunes, which is a software, an application available for both Mac computers as well as Windows computers. It's a free download. It does not cost anything to use iTunes, but you actually have to create an iTunes account, your Apple account, okay? And if you haven't done that already, look in the notes of this video, and you'll see a link that will guide you through that process. You can see here that I am signed in to my iTunes account. It does require an email address and a password. And you can see that I am signed in. This is the iTunes Store, and you see over here. If you're not seeing, by the way, this side banner and you prefer to see that, this is the newer version of iTunes. Come up here to the View menu, and you can hide sidebar in case your view looks like this, but you want the sidebar back. You can click on the View menu, and then again select Show Sidebar, and it will show the sidebar if you prefer to navigate. It's what I'm used to as well, and so I like that. So we're in the iTunes Store. You can see there's music, movies, TV shows. Down here we have podcasts. See that? And you can click right on the link, and it will take us to the podcast section inside of the iTunes Store. These are all podcasts. Now, one of the interesting thing about podcasts, again, kind of think of like a magazine or a newspaper for the ear. There are some podcasts that have video, and there are some that have mixed media. So they have video or they have audio with some visuals. They can be static or motion images. Now, Apple does break them down into different categories, just like they do elsewhere in the store. So there's new and noteworthy. Okay. Then there's some broken up kind of by theme. They have some by program and some by theme. Here's parenting advice. Here's basketball. And then you have categories as well coming down the side. So there's a lot of different categories. Now I'm focusing on technology, so we're going to go into technology in just a moment. Then you have quick links. Okay, featured providers, podcast reviews and resources, top audio episodes. So here's the top downloaded programs as of today or this week, top audio podcast. And then you have featured providers. So you can see that there are companies involved. The BBC, CNET, CNN, ESPN, NBC News, NPR, NFL. Okay, so a lot of different stuff. They even have what they call the podcast starter pack if you're just getting started in podcasting. But I'm going to take you to one that I'm particularly fond of and particularly proud of. We're going to go to my podcast produced by Chet Davis, and it's called Your Technology Tutor. The easiest way to find, if you don't have the direct link, is come up to the search bar here, and you can either type in Chet Davis and click the enter or return button, and it should take you right to my podcast. Now, the search results will be broken out in a couple different ways. This is a podcast, so this is a program, kind of like the magazine itself. And down here are specific episodes. So here are episodes that are part of my program. If you only wanted to hear one in particular, see the playback button, just like we saw on the website a moment ago, and it tells you how long it is. This is 32 minutes and 37 seconds, okay? Now, then there's other things. There's songs, albums, books, etc. That correlate to the name Chet Davis. Now, I'm not involved with any of those. At least I'm not aware of being involved with any of those. I'm just involved with the top two. So if you wanted to play an episode back right inside your computer, your desktop, laptop computer, all you have to do is click this. But I want to take you one level deeper. Click on the actual podcast, my icon here, and it opens up the specific podcast inside of its own page. So it tells you a little bit more about the program, and giving you additional information. And here's the letter I for additional information on a specific episode for you to decide, gee, do I want to pay attention to this? Now, take a look. I also include this here. Resources discussed along with a summary of the show are found in the show notes here. So there's actually, on my website, that specific page, if you go to that page, there will be notes, there's the web links, there's the pages, there's additional resources and a summary. The key findings and presentations of that particular program you'll find on that page, which is a great way to follow up, find out more about any particular program. So that's how you can listen to an episode. But if you really find something you really enjoy, like I hope you will find with my podcast, you have the opportunity to subscribe. And simply by clicking this button, okay, you are subscribing. And it asks you, are sure you want to do this? Yeah. What's going to happen is the most recent episode will appear in the podcast section of your library when it's finished downloading. And future episodes will download automatically as they become available. So every time I create a new episode, which is 1 or 2 a week, a new episode of my program, my internet radio show, will automatically download into your iTunes. Isn't that cool? So, and you'll be a little alerted. There's a little icon that shows up saying, hey, you've got a new podcast. So you can listen to me whether you're in the car, out for a run or a walk, sitting at work, a downtime, what have you. So it's a great way to stay informed, to stay up to date, particularly with my podcast with technology. Let's take a look and see what it looks like inside of our library in iTunes. So you can see we go over here to the library and you have all these different sections. I want to find out what it looks like inside a podcast. So I click on the link and there's the program we just subscribed to, Your Technology Tutor. Now it does show us all the episodes available, the most recent episodes available. Only one's been downloaded though. How do I know that? Well, first of all, it told me a moment ago it was going to download the first episode. And see this blue circle? That tells me that particular program has been downloaded. So I can listen to that right now by clicking this playback button. These episodes have not yet been downloaded. I know because there's 2 indicators. One, there's no blue circle. And secondly, we have this icon here. This icon is how I request it to be downloaded. So by clicking on that, you see we have some activity up here at the top of the iTunes, and you have this little icon here telling us I am presently downloading. When it goes full circle, it will turn blue, and that's my indicator that it has downloaded that onto my hard drive, so I'm ready to listen to it at any time. Now, in the subsequent lessons, I'm going to show you how you can view these podcasts and, using the podcast app on your iPhone, and then separately on your iPad. Again, we've just subscribed. Now you have the opportunity to tell a friend. You can copy the link. You can share it on Facebook or Twitter saying, hey, I just found this cool podcast. I just want to let my friends know. All right? Chet Davis saying, thanks for tuning in. Again, in the next 2 videos, we'll show you how you can use the podcast app on your iPhone and then the podcast app on your iPad.